Help me reach 6,000 subscribers. Tap the like button, drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one of them. Thank you. I never imagined an office party could feel like walking straight into a war zone. But that Thursday evening, the moment I pushed through the gleaming glass doors of Sterling and Company, I realized that's exactly what I had walked into. Harper, my wife, had invited me in the most casual way, insisting it would be polite to show up. I should have listened to my gut and stayed home. I spotted her almost instantly. Harper looked breathtaking in a shimmery silver dress that caught the lighting perfectly. Her hair curled just right, her smile practiced and professional. She was laughing with coworkers, her hand lightly grazing the arm of someone I didn't recognize. I paused, taking in the scene. And that's when it hit. A cold jolt of awareness. From the corner of the room, leaning on the bar, stood a man whose eyes locked onto mine the second I walked in. "Oh, you're the ex," he announced, just loud enough to sting. His smirk was sharp and deliberate. Time stopped. I didn't flinch, though every nerve in me tightened. I knew exactly who he was. Vance Montgomery. Harper's boss. Well known for arrogance and the kind of cruelty that made people avoid eye contact. And here he was, trying to humiliate me in front of 100 strangers. Harper went ghost white. Her laughter died mid-breath. Her mouth hung slightly open, like her words had gotten stuck on the way out. For a moment, panic flickered across her face. That split second when someone realizes the entire game has shifted. I inhaled slowly, forcing calm into my lungs. This wasn't about ego anymore. This was about truth. And taking back a story that had been bent behind closed doors for months. "Vance," I said, my voice cutting through the murmurs and half-hidden chuckles. "You're mistaken. I'm not the ex. I'm the husband." Silence slammed down on the room. Even the background music felt like it clipped off mid-beat. Harper's eyes widened. Not just from shock, but with guilt. Real guilt. The kind that surfaces when the truth is about to escape your control. Vance's smirk cracked. His shoulders stiffened. "Excuse me?" he asked, trying to patch together his confidence, but it was too late. I continued, taking one clear step closer so everyone could hear. "I'm the husband. And while you've been dropping hints, making comments, and..." I let my eyes scan the room. "Inserting yourself into situations that don't involve you. Harper has been covering for more than she ever should." Whispers rippled through the crowd. People shifted uneasily. Harper looked like she wanted to disappear. Her cheeks were heating, her fingers twisting together. "It's simple," I said, keeping my tone level. "You've been playing some kind of power game. Meanwhile, my wife has been pretending everything is fine. Pretending your smirks and little digs aren't affecting her. And by extension, affecting us." Harper's lips parted, but no words came out. For the first time in months, I felt something shift. A steadiness I hadn't felt in a long time. I stepped closer to her, shrinking the space between us. "So yes, Vance," I said louder, slicing through the whispers. "I am the husband. And if you think you can tear that down with smirks and cheap shots, understand this: I notice everything. And I will always speak the truth. Audience or not." Heads turned. A few of Harper's coworkers, Emma, Jason, Lily, watched with wide eyes. Their expression said everything. Respect, disbelief, and the realization that someone had finally pushed back. Harper's eyes filled with tears. I didn't need to say more. Silence was doing the work for me. For the first time in months, I felt power, not loud, not violent, but steady. Controlled. Harper whispered, "Daniel, But her voice broke. I gave her a small nod. She didn't owe me explanations. Not in front of all these eyes. Vance cleared his throat, desperate to rebuild his authority. "That's not what I meant," he mumbled. No one believed him. The atmosphere had shifted hard. I moved toward the bar slowly, my focus still on Harper. "Harper," I said softly, just loud enough for her ears, "I don't need explanations tonight. I need truth. And I need you to know I'm done letting anyone else define what we are." Her lips trembled. For a moment I saw the woman I fell in love with, vulnerable, startled, still herself underneath everything. I brushed a strand of hair from her face. She flinched slightly, not from fear but from surprise. The intimacy between us had been buried under stress, office politics, and months of silence. But tonight something in it flickered again. Vance stepped in closer, still trying to salvage his ego. You're overreacting, Daniel. It was just a joke. I stared straight into his eyes. A joke? Let me explain something. Humiliation disguised as humor is still humiliation. It doesn't matter what you call it, it matters who you hurt. And tonight you crossed the line. People around him shifted uncomfortably. Even Emma shot him a look that practically screamed, "You messed up badly." I turned back to Harper. "We've been quiet for too long," I said. "We've allowed small betrayals, subtle disrespect, little lies, thinking silence was easier than confrontation. But it's not easier. It destroys trust. And it's already done enough damage." Harper's hands shook as she clasped them together. "Daniel, I didn't want it to get this far," she whispered. "I didn't know how to stop it. I thought I was protecting us." I shook my head gently. Protecting us doesn't mean hiding the truth. Protection means honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. Vance muttered under his breath. "This is unnecessary." I turned fully toward him. "No, Vance. What's unnecessary is your belief that you get to define someone else's life for your amusement. Respect isn't optional. It's required." The room went still. The imbalance that had hovered over Harper for months evaporated in a single moment. Truth has a way of doing that. Harper stepped closer, her hand brushing mine. "Daniel," she said more steadily this time. "I was wrong." I nodded. It was enough. I addressed the room calmly. "What you saw tonight isn't about drama. It's about boundaries. About respect. About refusing to stay silent when silence becomes a weapon." People nodded quietly. Some murmured in agreement. Vance stepped back, finally aware that his reign of intimidation had ended. Harper stayed close as we began moving toward the exit, her fingers brushing mine. "Thank you," she whispered. Her voice carried relief, and something softer, something familiar. Outside, the night air was cool and still. The city hummed in the distance. I took a deep breath, letting the tension drain out of me. The party, the whispers, the smirks. All of it was behind us now. What mattered was moving forward, with honesty, clarity, and a level of respect no one could break again. For the first time in a long time I felt grounded. Seen. In control of my own story. As Harper and I walked side by side into the night, a single truth settled in my mind. Sometimes the most powerful moments aren't loud or explosive. They're calm, deliberate, unshakable. Because once truth is spoken aloud, changes everything.